Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
This is awesome. Thank
No,
you.
I'm stoked.
Yeah.
And you know, what an amazing thing to be celebrating. And there has been a lot to celebrate over the last few years for you guys. I want to get into all of it.
Yeah.
But I want to take it to the start, if I can. What was the hope when you guys all got together? When the band first found itself, so you all found each other, what was it? I want to go do local gigs.
Yeah.
I want to hear myself on the radio.
Yeah.
What was that initial want?
Wow. There's so much to unpack there.
Starting easy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, the band started with Gwen and her brother Eric. And they played some parties. I joined in 87. Tom joined in 88. Adrian joined in 89. And at that point, we had kind of got the band together at that point. I think there was always this spirit of us against the world. We wanted people to hear our music. We took it really seriously. Like, we would rehearse religiously every Thursday, every Sunday. Everyone had to be there, 3-hour rehearsals. Everyone had to pitch in to rent the rehearsal spot and the PA and the mics, and it was a collaborative effort, like, from the get-go. And we kind of found our world playing live. And, you know, when we first started, we were, you know, I guess you could call us a ska band. And we were part of the ska mod scene that was happening in Southern California at the time. And it was this really great, like, kind of built-in audience at cool clubs scene. And then, you know, as we started evolving as a band and experimenting with different kinds of music, like, and kind of finding who we really were, we kind of left that scene, but we always did really well live. And I think for us, to answer your question, like, we wanted to take that around the world. We wanted to play for people around the world and, like, you know, share our music with everyone.
I didn't know the rehearsals were such a big part of kind of what you were doing. You say, if at this date everybody has to be there, we have to.
It was every Thursday and every Sunday. You couldn't miss it, but nobody wanted to miss it because we were having so much fun. Like, I mean, we grew up watching bands like Fishbone and the Untouchables, bands that influenced us greatly, you know, and then bands from the UK like the Specials and the Selector and Madness, and the Beat. All those bands were so influential on us, and if all those bands, like, the one thing they all have in common is they're incredible live bands. If you watch Dance Craze and you watch those bands and, like, all the UK bands and Dance Craze, every single one of them has their own vibe going on stage, and we always wanted to be a great live band. And so those Thursday rehearsals or Sunday rehearsals were mostly at this place called Stomp Box in Anaheim.
Okay.
And it was a rehearsal studio, and you would get your room, but every door had, like, a window, so you could watch other bands rehearse. And so there was this, you know, kind of unspoken competitive nature of, like, you know, let's go see this band.
How they doing, yeah.
How's that bass player doing? Like, how's that guitar player, you know? And I think it was almost like you were almost performing in your rehearsal spot because people would pop and look in the window and stuff. You know, when you're 16 years old, that was a thing. And so yeah, man, it was awesome. Like, we really kind of had our shit together when it came to that stuff.
Did that competitiveness,
Yeah.
do you feel like it made you better unintentionally? Like, oh, we've got to be better than the band in Studio A.
Yeah, I suppose so. And maybe competitiveness is now, when you repeated that back to me, it's like it almost became like a I don't want to mean it from, like, a sports point of view. Like, it was just like we really believed in ourselves, and we really thought we could reach a lot of people with our music and stuff.
You knew you were good.
I think we had some confidence. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So then, you know, skip a few years, hard work paying off. When did you realize that this just wasn't a local thing?
So in the early years, we would, you know, it started in Southern California, in Orange County, and Los Angeles. If you're an Orange County band, you were playing in Los Angeles. You were driving up and playing the Whiskey on the Sunset Strip and the Roxy. So if you're an Orange County band, you would play San Diego, you would play the Inland Empire, you go out to Riverside. And so that was all kind of part of the LA scene. And then, you know, we would travel up to the Bay Area and play up in San Francisco and Berkeley, and then we'd venture out to Arizona. And this is like literally we were limited to like where our cars could take us, you know, and so we'd caravan in all our cars. This was even before we could afford to rent a van. And so we kind of started building this following, you know, in California. But I think it was when we, you know, about 10 years in and we got on the radio for the first time. And it started blowing up around the country, and it started blowing up around the world. Is when you just realize, okay, this is taking us to different places at that point. And we had done the van tours in the United States, but we'd never gone overseas till about 9 years into the band. Yeah.
Do you feel like, you know, 10 years later you're starting to get radio play, starting to become a bit more internationally known, because you'd had those 10 years? You were maybe prepared for it? It wasn't an overnight
I think 100%. Like, it was, even in those 10 years, those formative years, and being so young and going through, like, you know, is this going to be sustainable? Like, you know, like a few of us were going to college kind of half-heartedly, like, you know, doing college as well, but all you would do in sitting in class is like you'd be making a flyer for the next show, you know, and there was talk about like, okay, is this gonna happen? I don't know what your question was. I think I just lost myself. What
being
was
prepared?
Being
like
prepared.
When it finally did happen on a big scale.
Yeah, it did, because we had already put so many, like that 10,000 hours rule. I think we had done that, and we had put so much time into it. I mean, nothing could prepare us for that rocket ship that we were on when Tragic Kingdom blew up, but I think we were more prepared than if it had happened like right away.
And all of it's documented. A good chunk of it's documented, which is crazy. Like, thank goodness for the people that were shooting home movies back in the day when, you know, cameras started. Because there are videos of you playing those universities and doing these things and doing interviews in the early 90s before things blew up. Like, is it cool that these things are really documented for you?
Great, yeah. You can go and find, like, No Doubt at Fender's Ballroom in Long Beach in 1987. And it's just mind-blowing to watch that stuff. Like, because for me, it feels like that was yesterday, you know? And you have all this history and perspective and all these different eras of the band. And yeah, you're right. We've had this great friend named Eric Keys who's been with us since the beginning, who's documented so much stuff, and we rely on him. Like when we did Coachella, he put together like the interstitial stuff, and that's the stuff that really like tugs on your heartstrings, you know, like for us and hopefully for people watching us, you know, because it's the real home movies of us writing in the garage and being in a van for 12 hours going from city to city and deciding who's going to drive, you know.
And then I'm sure the shift going from cars to vans to jets and all of that would have been insane. And I mean, in researching this, you know, it's easy to look at from an outsider's point of view and being like, oh, this era and this era and this era. But this was a band that was so uniquely, in my opinion, uniquely different with every era. Every album was a completely different thing on its own, had its own life, got a new type of fan base on its own. Do you look at it like that, kind of in eras?
I could see what you're saying when you say it back to me that way. For us, you're just on this musical exploration, this journey, right? Like trying to do different things, and we tried never to put like limits on ourselves. And you know, we made Tragic Kingdom under kind of duress with the record company. That was a really tough time. They didn't know what to do with us, and so they would release a little bit of money, like, okay, you can go in the studio now, and maybe a little bit now. And that was just like a really challenging time. So for the album to do that well after going through that challenging writing process and creative process was really kind of redeeming in a way. And then after Tragic Kingdom, we made Return of Saturn, and that was like trying to prove to ourselves that we could follow that up with some good songs and good production. And then after that, it was like, okay, we did that. Now the gloves are off. Now we can have some real fun. And making Rocksteady was just about like, okay, let's make a list of all the people we want to work with. You know, Rick Ocasek from the Cars, Sly and Robbie from Jamaica, Prince. You know, we just made a list and we went and did it. And at that point, it wasn't even like we kind of stopped giving a fuck about what people thought. It was just like, okay, we're gonna have some fun. We were in a very party mode at that point. Like Return of Saturn, that tour, we were partying every night. Like we were having a dance party every night, and it led into listening to a lot of Jamaican music, a lot of reggae music, and a lot of ska music, and we were truly inspired going into making Rocksteady. It was like we wanted to have a dance record. Yeah.
And like music aside, like culture at that time, around Rock City and between Rock City, Saturn and Rock City, was such an interesting shift in pop culture. The way people were consuming and different mediums and music videos and the sound in itself. And I think you guys did a good job of kind of not following that, staying, no doubt, doing your thing, but moving it into this MTV kind of generation.
Yeah.
What a time for pop culture. What an
Yeah.
exciting time for you to be doing it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. We were very fortunate that when we found, I guess, commercial success as a band, it was a very, it was a time where, you know, we're not, if you were on the radio, if you were on K-Rock in LA, a lot of stations followed K-Rock. K-Rock was like the flagship station for alternative music. And MTV was such a big thing at the time, so if you were fortunate enough to have music on, videos on MTV, like you could go to different places in the world and play like, you know, like in Bangalore, India, and have everyone singing along with you and stuff. So I think we're very fortunate in when things blew up. It's prior to what's going, you know, how disparate things are now. Yeah.
And, you know, as a band, you went through so much. I mean, things that would break up any other band. You know, you think of some of the iconic bands in history that couldn't handle a quarter of some of the stuff that you guys went through. What kept it going?
I think we all loved the band so much. Yeah, when Eric left, you know, Eric was the founding member, and he left in '94. We were halfway through making Tragic Kingdom. He left during that process, and that was a big deal for us because he was the primary songwriter in the band. So it forced Gwen and Tom and myself to kind of step up and write more and contribute more and collaborate more, and that ended up working out. And then of course Gwen and I broke up around that time too, so that was a challenging time for us internally, and not just for Gwen and I, but like for all four of us, you know, going around. And we did 28 months of touring on that Tragic Kingdom record, and you're doing like 6 hours, 8 hours of press a day, like just one interview after another, and there's still like you couldn't even get to half the people that wanted to sit and talk to us and stuff, and everybody wanted to talk about the relationship. And so like every interview was like the Band-Aid being ripped off. Like you're trying to heal and move on, and then it's ripping off the Band-Aid, and then poor Tom and Adrian are sitting there, and you're talking about the relationship and not the music. So yeah, we got through that. Maybe that made us stronger. And I think there was always just the love of the band, and we really love playing together on stage. We have this thing that happens that's bigger than the sum of our parts, that when we get on stage. And I think that's always been like a underlying motivator to keep us going through all the tough times.
And the music has been so autobiographical too.
Yeah.
Right? Like from the get-go, because I just thought about that when you're talking about, you know, this interviewers want to know the same things, and it's ripping the Band-Aid off this.
Yeah.
But you have been so open in the music about everything that's been going on.
Yeah.
Always. Was that a conscious decision, or was it always like, we're just going to write about what's going on in our lives and let, you know?
Well, I think when Gwen, you know, when Eric left the band and Gwen found her writing voice, that's when she felt like putting her heart on her sleeve and being vulnerable was so empowering for her, because so many people related to it. Because everyone can relate to a breakup, everyone can relate to these different things happening, obviously in their own way. But I think that was really empowering for her, and I think that I don't know if it was a conscious thing. I think it's just who we are. Like we've always been pretty honest about stuff. We've always like tried not to take ourselves too seriously, and I think it's okay to be flawed, and it's okay to be human.
Yeah.
And people relate to it. You know, if you think about artists that you love, like, they're all human, just like us. They're, you know, that's the stuff you relate to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons that
the struggle,
stuff
right?
worked.
Yeah.
I want to get to the exciting Sphere stuff shortly, but I need to hit Coachella.
Yeah.
Because that was unbelievable. I was there weekend one.
Wow.
And so were a lot of people.
Yeah.
I just couldn't imagine what it would have been like to be you guys under the stage. You know, you hear that Rocksteady intro going.
Yeah.
You've heard that a million times.
Yeah.
Hella good beat kicks in.
Yeah.
You start to rise.
Yeah.
What's going on in the psyche during a moment
I just got goosebumps again when you just described that. So prior to Coachella, we hadn't played for 9 years, and you know, we're just like, you hear stories of bands, and bands go through different changes and different life changes and peaks and valleys and dark periods and bright periods, and we're no different, you know. And so we hadn't played for 9 years, and when Coachella became an opportunity, and that was one that brought us all back together. So we only had a few months between the time it was announced and when we had to play the show. So it was like going hard and getting everything together again. So it was really like a whirlwind, and it was really intense. Rehearsals were great, and that moment when you're under the catwalk and you're about to go up on the riser is a rare moment when it's just the four of us, and you can look at each other, and you're in this really cramped, awkward place, and then you're holding your bass, and if you step 2 inches to the left, your foot will get caught in the riser thing, and you know, like, it's that level of like, just be careful, and
huge
just
drum kit, just taking
yeah. Adrian's down there, and Adrian's like this, you know, and you're down there for a couple of minutes, so it's uncomfortable, but you can make eye contact, and you can hear the audience talking around you because they don't really know you're there because they snuck us in.
Yeah, everybody was looking up at the stage. I'll never forget that. And then my girlfriend tapped me and points.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And then, you know, the lights go off, and we have our in-ears in, so you can hear all the cues happening, and then you hear the audience. And those are really special moments because, if you think about the 4 months of preparation and how many people are around you and rehearsals and your crew and all these great, awesome people helping you make this happen, there's rare moments where there's actually the four of us in a room together, let alone like a closed, confined, awkward space like that. So it's a really actually a beautiful thing to experience. And we did that on the Rocksteady tour.
Mm-hmm.
So it had been many years since we had done the come up on the front of the catwalk thing. It's
was
cool.
a direct reference to how the Rocksteady
It's exactly what we did, yeah.
Yeah. I can just imagine you looking at each other being like, look at us.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
wow.
And we didn't know what to expect, like, coming up. Like, you know, we were ready to play, but we didn't know how the audience was going to receive us. Coachella is obviously a younger audience, and we've been going to Coachella since it started, and it's one of the greatest festivals ever. And so we've been there, and we've experienced it in the audience, but we'd never experienced it as, no doubt, playing, performing.
Nobody had said to you, hey guys, there's a good amount of people out there. Like, when you rose, that was the first time you really saw how crazy that moment was going to be.
I got to tell you, Liam, like, even playing the show, you can see a certain amount of people. It's not till afterwards and you see the drone shots.
Yeah.
That you're like, oh, it's that many people. Like, it's going way past what you can physically see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was cool.
Yeah,
it was cool.
I feel like it was an exciting moment for you. It was an exciting moment for your fans.
Yes.
Just seeing those people that have been there for so long, so excited to see you on stage. What do you take away from something like that?
Well, if when people ask me to describe that experience, I would just say it was joyous. Like, it was just joyous on every level of celebrating all our years as a band, our music, being able to reach new generations of fans, but also having like people who people who came to see us who've been around since the beginning, our friends and family. You know, it was just truly joyous, and all our kids were there too.
I was just going to say, because your kids would have been so young, they probably wouldn't have been had
the last time we played prior to Coachella was 2015. My kids don't remember that. I can show them videos of them on the side of the stage, but they're like, oh, cool. So leading into Coachella, I was like, I broke the news to them one day. I was like, we're going to play again. They're like, what? Yeah, No Doubt's going to play. okay. And, you know, you could see them trying to process it, and it didn't really hit home till like we announced it, and then they started coming home from school every day and going, oh my God, everyone's super excited. My teachers are excited. This mom's excited. This dad's excited. People are wearing their shirts. All the kids like, and they like, so they were feeling it through everybody else. Yeah. And then I've told this story before, but like we, you know, I was like, I got to tell you something, but you got to keep it a secret. We're going to have a special guest on night one. And they're like, who? I go, okay, you got to keep it a secret. It's going to be Olivia Rodrigo. And they were just like,
your cool points just
like,
shot
like,
through the room.
All of a sudden, the coolest dad in the room. Like, and so, yeah. And then they came to the show, and it was just overwhelming for them. It was really emotional in a great way, and they just, and for all the kids, to be able to run around together backstage and like hang out together and stuff. It's cool, man. It's like it's a different, like you're seeing things through somebody else's eyes, right?
So that ends. Coachella's a hoot. Everybody loves it. Everybody's stoked, right? You can feel the fandom.
Yeah.
The band's, you know, exhilarated. Afterwards, it's just like, well, that was fun, you know, thinking, oh, that was a great thing, we'll do again in 10 years. Like, what was the mindset there? Or was it like, kind of like, oh, it's be good to do this again? Yeah,
there was never a conversation about what we were going to do next, but offers obviously were coming in and people were very excited. And it wasn't till there was a conversation about Sphere that we finally like were on the same page. Like, okay, this might be something that we could do together again. Like we, you know, I think since we don't play that often, when we play, it's got to be really special and different. And I think this was one of those things where it's like, okay, this is an opportunity to do something amazing. You know, I've seen a couple shows there. The place blows your mind, and to like be able to go into that venue and embrace that technology, and it's gonna be awesome.
And No Doubt's always been a very visual band. Like, I think you guys are kind of underrated for how aesthetically visual you were from the get-go. Even like little branding cues, like, you know, the orange or whatever.
Sure.
You've always kind of had that. So this seems like a really smart step, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it seems like a good like connection combination of us and the Sphere. Yeah. I think that like we're already in it. We've already been in creative meetings for a few months now, and it is at times overwhelming. It's daunting. It's such a big production, and we are in it, and it's gonna be awesome. And we've got like great creative people working with us. Baz Halpin, who did our 2009 tour, so we had history with him, is putting the creative together with his amazing team. And he did the U2 show at the Sphere. Mm-hmm. He did Backstreet Boys and one more, maybe the Eagles as well.
So he's already had his fingers.
So he knows the venue, and he like, you know, we're like, can we do this? He goes, yeah, you can do that. Like, and there's things you can do there that you can't do anywhere else. So it's. Have you been yet?
No, I've got tickets to you guys. I've gone to the last show.
Oh man,
the very last show. So I'm stoked. This will be my first experience there.
It changes the way you experience a live show. Yeah. Like, it's not obviously just about the band. It's about the visuals, and the sound is amazing, and the magnitude of the production, the size of the venue. It's like, it's really overwhelming. You are this tiny little thing on the stage right here in this massive venue. But yeah, at the same time, like, through the technology, you get to connect with all these people. It's pretty amazing.
There are so many elements to it, though. Like, you know, as you say, you're like this, right? So it's like, does the bigness of it all, I guess what I'm trying to ask is, like, how do you make it feel intimate?
Yeah. No, that's a great question. So, it's a collaborative process putting the show together with Baz and his team, and we, for the first time, so normally you would, if you're doing a set list for a show, you would kind of wait till you get closer to rehearsals and you would do the set list. In the case of the Sphere, you have to do it now because you have to know what the show's going to be to create the content that goes along with it. And so there are moments where it will definitely get intimate because we're kind of doing it in different acts, and we rely on Baz and his team to kind of give us feedback on. Normally, you would pace a set completely differently than what we're doing for this. You would come out hard, and then you would do a little lull, not a lull, but like maybe pull back a little bit, and then like it's like this. This is going to be a different show because you kind of do in acts, so there'll be more intimate moments and more over the top moments that really like take people on a journey on what this venue can do. Yeah.
And I saw another interview that you were talking about, you thought at one point, oh, what if we just did the whole Tragic Kingdom with this? But this is seemingly going to be career spanning.
Yeah.
It's going to be a celebration of the whole journey.
Yeah.
How do you pick and choose? How do you know what's right?
Yeah, it was actually not that hard. I thought it was going to be more difficult, but we circulated some different ideas and we were pretty much on the same page. And then when we started getting into production ideas, everything started becoming a little bit clearer. Like, this makes more sense. We're going to do this and this and this versus maybe this song or that song. And it just all started making sense, yeah.
Did what you could do, I guess, visually with a song kind of help you choose whether or not you wanted to do it?
That's a great question.
Oh man, this song would be great for this.
No, I don't think so. I think it was more about these are the songs that we want to play. I guess there was a little bit of that, but I would say mostly it was like the songs we wanted to play. Yeah.
I'm just thinking it's a shame you don't get to experience No Doubt live. Like, what a shame that you don't get to be in the
to
crowd.
watch it, like watch it.
To watch it from the audience. Like, you will never know what it was like to be us experiencing Coachella.
Right. Yeah, I know. But I've watched some stuff back, and it's pretty. I can have, now that it's been a year and a half, I can have an almost out of body experience watching some of that stuff. It's cool. Yeah.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see this journey. Do you also think that the Push and Shove album is criminally underrated?
I have mixed thoughts about that album. We were going through a very tough time as a band. There was personal stuff going on. It was like a lot of stuff was going on. That was a challenging record to make. We weren't necessarily on the same page about what kind of record we wanted to make. And I think what ended up happening is we made a record that was trying to maybe make everybody happy, and at the end of the day, it was compromised. I'm still proud of that record. I think there's some great songs on that record, but I don't think it really got its fair, time in the sunlight. And then I think, because that was such a tough record to make, and putting it out was tough, it just kind of led to, okay, let's we didn't say this, but it just ended up going into the band went on a break.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's some really strong tunes in there. Like Push and Shove is phenomenal.
Yeah, I love that song.
Settle Down, phenomenal song.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go back and listen to it.
Yeah,
it's what happens with you have a personal relationship to it too, right? Like each of us. So at that time, maybe you're going through this or that, and so like that puts its stamp on your music internally, like personally. And for instance, like I think back on the Rocksteady times, and that was just the most creative expression, free creative expression that we were having, because we just didn't care. So we're going to London, and we're going to Jamaica, and we're going to San Francisco, and we're going, just whatever was like happened the next day, it was like, okay, we're gonna go do this, and it all worked. That was the first time on Rocksteady that we'd made a record in the period of in a 1 year span. Like, started writing it and put it out within 1 year. We'd never done that before. With our first album, with Tragic Kingdom, with Return of Saturn, and it ended up Push and Shove ended up being a long process too. Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see how you bring all of these different worlds together on stage next year. I'm going to be in the pit. Was that a good decision?
I think that's a great decision.
Was that a good decision?
I think so. When I went to see The Dead, I went to every single.
Oh, you did. You had to explore.
So we could see, like, they took us so you could really understand.
You knew at that point that you would be playing there?
No, this was us being courted
Okay.
to play there. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And same with the Backstreet Boys. Like Tom and Adrian and I walked like, so you go to the top, and that's a different experience. That place is really steep. So when you're watching from the top, you're looking down.
Oh, really?
And then we watched it from like, you know, the mid-level seats, and we watched it from the floor. Every single thing is a different experience. And everything, like, I would almost want to go back and see those shows again, or see more shows from different perspectives, because it's all a different experience.
I bet. But, you know, throughout all of this journey that we've kind of been talking about over the last few minutes, you've also had time somehow to do scoring. How on earth did you find time to do that? And what does doing that give you when you come back to a band?
Yeah. So when the scoring thing kind of came into my life, the band was not really playing. You know, this is about, I want to say 2019. It kind of happened like inadvertently. I played a show with Danny Elfman at the Hollywood Bowl. He does the Nightmare Before Christmas shows, and he does a Boingo song at the end. And I was fortunate enough to be invited to play bass on that Boingo song for that one year. And in the audience was now my really good friend Blake Neely, who's this really accomplished, talented film and TV composer. And he was doing a project, and he wanted live bass and drums to play with the orchestra. So he saw that, and I was fresh in his mind, and he reached out, and he asked Stephen Perkins from Jane's Addiction to play drums. I played bass, and we went in and we did a couple days of work with Blake, and Blake and I hit it off, became really good friends. And we spent the summer of 2020, this was when lockdown was happening, getting together in his big studio live room, and I would play bass and he'd play piano, and we'd wear masks, and we sit 20 feet apart, drink tequila, and we kept our sanity through that summer by just playing once a week. And then at the end of that summer, he's like, "Hey dude, I got a crazy idea. We've got an empty room here at the studio. You should move in. You should be working on music." I wasn't really doing much at the time. And I was like, okay, all right, let's see what happens. So I went in there, and I spent the next year learning how to use Logic and writing with Blake. He was so generous with his time, with his spirit, with his mentorship, and he taught me this world. And he goes, by the end of the year, we'll send out our reel together. You know, by end of, 2021, we'll send out a reel together, and we'll get a project that we'll work on together. I was like, okay, cool. You know, you've already done so much by just kind of reinvigorating me like into doing music again. So December 31st comes around, and he calls me, and it's like 3 p.m. and I have my whole family coming over to spend New Year's Eve at our house. And he goes, "Hey dude, we didn't send out the reel." I go, "It's cool, we'll do it on Monday, you know, we'll do it next week." He goes, No, we said this year." I was like, "Oh shit, okay, I'll come over right now." So we get back to the studio, and we put together the reel, and we sent it out to music supervisors that we both knew. And that was on a Friday, and on Monday we got the call for this movie Purple Hearts that we ended up doing together for Netflix. And so that was like, you know, my first kind of big foray into doing composing for film. And under his kind of tutelage, it was just so awesome, such an amazing experience. And we did that came out, and then I was like, okay, cool, what are we gonna do next? And this is Blake Neely, who has like 12 TV shows going on at any one time. He's like, "Dude, we're not doing anything next. You're gonna go do something now." And I was like, shit, okay. So I went out, and I ended up getting this TV show called Single Drunk Female, and I did season 2 of that. And that led to other stuff, including what I'm doing now, which is Shifting Gears. And I'm on season 2 of that. Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how just this COVID era kind of, you know, sitting 20 feet apart, letting it loose with a friend, turned into this kind of, not side quest for you?
No, it's true. I had forayed into like other stuff. Like I was writing with other artists, like in the early and mid 2000s, and I did that for a while till No Doubt got back together and toured in 2009 and then did Push and Shove. But yeah, this was my first thing, like, okay, in a while that I had done outside of the band, and it's been really awesome. It's a completely different way of writing.
Yeah.
You're sitting in a room by yourself writing to picture, and that is a very different experience than writing songs with your friends and then getting on stage and getting that visceral, immediate feedback. This is much different than that.
Well, you're not writing for yourself. You're writing for a scene or a character or a,
yes.
Yeah.
And you find out you're writing for the studio and the director and the writers, and everybody's got what they want the music to do for that particular scene, and like you said, the character.
I love speaking to composers, show composers, because I think people don't talk about their part of projects enough. In a movie premiere, I'm always scouting, oh, where's the composer? Because it's like, without that, you listen to a movie without music, completely different film.
Yeah.
You see a scene, the actor could be giving the performance of a lifetime, so emotional.
Yeah.
Without that score, completely different feel.
Have you seen, speaking of that, have you seen like when they do the Raiders of the Lost Ark? Have you seen those ones where they A/B it with music and without music?
No.
Yeah, it's
Raiders
pretty amazing. Like they'll have like Harrison Ford will be like talking to the actor who plays Miriam. Anyways, there's like all these romantic scenes and like other scenes, and they'll show it to you without the music, and you're just like, okay, you're just waiting for something to happen, and then they put the music underneath, and it's just like it's just changes. As we know, music changes everything. It makes everything better. It heals the world, and it's like when it comes to TV and film, like it's such an important part. And the obvious example is John Williams, the most incredible, like changed my life with his music. What Star Wars means to me is obviously what George Lucas created, but it's what John Williams created, right? That's when, man, I take my kids to go see like Star Wars in concert now.
Oh, at the Bowl?
At the Bowl, but also I saw it at the Disney Theater downtown.
Nice.
The one right here.
Nice.
Oh man, we went last year, and dude, they did this amazing thing where they took every Star Wars kind of movie, TV show, and they probably got the most talented editor to put it together for each.
Cool.
So something like Leia's theme wasn't limited to just the original Star Wars saga, the trilogy. Like it was everything across the board, and dude, I was weeping the whole freaking time. It's so emotional for me because when Star Wars came out, I was 7 years old, and it's been such a big part of my life. So to your point, music in film is so important. I was thinking earlier today, like the original Tron soundtrack from the original movie that Wendy Carlos did, that is so like forward thinking and mind blowing and synth driven, and man, that stuff is just next level.
Have you heard the new Tron soundtrack?
I have not. No one brought that up today yet. Cool. I gotta listen to that.
But yeah, totally get what you're saying, and I agree. I went to one of the John Williams shows at the Bowl.
Yeah, they're great, right?
Just does like the Imperial March, and just everybody around, no matter how old, how young, just sobbing. With their little lightsabers.
The lightsabers, The girls are bringing their lightsabers to the show now,
Yeah. But also, I think part of the fun of that is, like, in a way, the music's a character, right? When you're doing it, right? You have to also... You're creating the aura for whatever's happening on the screen.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that comes pretty easy? Like, you see a character, you're pretty quick to, like, oh, this is what this sounds like, this is what they sound like, what their atmosphere should sound like.
Yeah, I mean, I think you try things and you see what works. I just did this short film, and for that, like, I wrote a few different pieces for that, and I worked with the creator of the film, the director, and I was like, I think this feels good for this character, and this feels good for this, and fortunately, he liked everything I did, and it worked out. So yes, I will say, like, in this new composing world, I don't really know what I'm doing. This is new for me, and I think that's what makes it so exciting. Like, I didn't go to school to compose, obviously, and I came from, like, the school of being in a band for 30 plus years. So I think that's what is so makes it so exciting for me, because I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm just learning as I go in the moment. For shifting gears, I'm doing these really short cues that take you from one scene to the next, but I'm playing bass on all of them,
Cool.
which is cool. So it's like every single thing has been a different experience so far in this world, and I'm just learning and seeing where it goes. And I'm at this place in my life where it's like, let's just see what happens. Like, it's a good place to be.
Do you, when jumping into something like this, where, as you say, you're not writing for yourself, you're writing for the project and the studio and the director and the actor, and when you're in there, and because you are so used to just letting loose with the band, when you're scoring something, are you sometimes doing something and like, was that a no doubt-ism, or is that, do you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
Does it come out and you kind of realize that?
Yeah.
Or does that help?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I did. Okay, that's a really good question, because when I was first doing some of the composing work, I didn't want to play bass on it for that very reason, because it was like, I didn't want to. First of all, like, when I'm playing bass, it's like, it's so me and my place in my band, so that felt very weird to me. But it wasn't till this show now, like when I did Single Drunk Female, it was all keyboard driven, but shifting gears, that when I got the job, when I got the project, it was based on something I'd written with like a bass thing, and so that kind of set the tone for what they wanted on the show, because otherwise they wouldn't have said, "You got the job." And so, yes. For a while I was kind of avoiding that, and now it's just like embracing it. Like, I play the way I play, and it's going to be that way whether I'm playing in No Doubt, playing on Shifting Gears, playing in Dream Car, like whatever, it's just the way I play. Yeah.
Because you're doing all of these things, Dream Car, No Doubt, scoring, do you touch the bass at home, or is it just like, that's work?
No, I'm not a good at-home practicer when there's not something coming up. So, fortunately, because I've been doing Shifting Gears and I'm playing bass on everything, I've been playing bass a lot for that, and then that's led into these rehearsals that are now a year and a half past Coachella. So I've been getting together with Tom and Adrian in Adrian's basement to start like just rocking some of the songs.
Wow.
But I've been playing, so it's not like I haven't picked up a bass. Yeah.
You're in a basement.
I'm in we're in Adrian's basement.
Wow.
It's so awesome. It's like, it's really padded and carpeted and dead, and it's just such a great way to like not have to worry about anything till we get to real rehearsals with all the crew and the entire everybody. This is like the three of us just like playing the songs that we've played for so many years, but like not worrying about fucking up, and it's just like, it's so great. Yeah.
Do you still push each other to get better?
I think we do that just by saying, okay, as soon as we're done with the rehearsal. By the way, we rehearse really early in the morning now.
Really?
It's like 9 a.m.
In the basement, just rocking the house?
9 a.m. to 12 o'clock, so I can hit the road and beat traffic back up to LA. I think I think we always know that the first few rehearsals after a long time are going to be total shit. And they are. Like, you're just like, wow, this is embarrassing. And by the time you get to the third or fourth rehearsal, you're like, okay, we're starting to get our legs back. This is going to be good. And then just keep pushing yourself. Yeah.
So give it 6-7 months and you guys will be...
It's going to be okay. It's going to be great. Yeah.
Oh man, I am so excited for you.
Thank you.
It has been so nice to sit down.
Oh man, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
I cannot wait to see you on that stage.
You got to come say hi.
Oh, I definitely will.
Please, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.